Hey guys, what's up? Bob here. Welcome to another p.i.c.a video. So, today we're going to be playing against the Middle-earth Magmortars, coached by my friend Science Guy, Josh. So, he's one of the other coaches. He's a really cool guy, and he does lots of YouTube videos. So that's actually really cool. He's one of the first p.i.c.a opponents I've had that actually does videos. So, go check him out. Link to all his stuff will be in the description, including his side of this battle. He narrated it live. I'm doing post, obviously. But, now that we're done all that stuff, let's get to the teams. So, first off, my opponent, let's look at his team. He's got Kieran Black, Magmortars, Excadrill, Florges, Swampert, Mineshow, Yanmega, Magmortar, Talonflame, Rotom Mow, Bronzong. That is brutal. How do you beat that? It's nasty. Okay, so he's got some really potent offensive threats, especially the Talonflame, the Magmortars, and the Kyurem. Kyurem has the highest base attack of any Pokemon in the game, if you didn't know. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. It also has the Terravolt ability that makes it so that, things that would, it basically nullifies abilities that would allow things to resist its attacks. And actually, he's also got a, Excadrill, which has a similar ability in Mold Breaker. It's basically exactly the same. Those guys are going to be really tough. On the plus side, they're both weak to fighting, but on the minus side, my only fighting type is Cobalion, who isn't exactly an offensive juggernaut. But anyways, let's go ahead and examine each of his guys. Kieran Black, obviously going to be a super potent attacker. He's been running, I think, mixed. That's usually what you do with Kieran Black. I know you can do just like straight physical attacker, but he's got Ice Beam, and with Terravolt, that would absolutely destroy Mega Venusaur. The only problem with that is I kind of have to bring Mega Venusaur anyway. Because he does have that Rotom Mow. And now Rotom Mow and Manectric were actually, of course Excadrill and Kieran Black are going to be problems, but Rotom Mow and Manectric are going to be the biggest problems for my team. I knew he would bring them, and I have a nasty electric weakness, which kind of comes when you have a rain team. So that's going to be a problem. I didn't really have any way to deal with them except for, Venusaur and his Kyurem, and even his Excadrill to a lesser extent can beat up on Venusaur, so we're gonna have problems with that. He's also got Talonflame, which I was actually surprised he brought. Talonflame's a really good offensive thing, but I have Rotom Wash. Although he does have things to deal with Rotom Wash, it's still, if you know, I suppose I can't really criticize, he would have swept me with it. He's got Bronzong, which I actually thought he would bring. Bronzong is a really good defensive guy. It's got rocks, it's got good typing and a good ability. I don't know, I thought he would bring it. He's got Mineshow, who I thought he would bring as well. And I always mispronounce that. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it correctly. Not gonna lie. I thought he would bring that. Fighting is always a very potent attacking type. Swampert, figured he wouldn't bring that because I have couple of grass types. I've got, a lot of water types, and he doesn't really have any. He's neutral, and he takes a lot of damage from a specially based water move. Plus, if he gets burned with like a Scald or something, it would really, mess him up. He's got Florges. Didn't think he would bring that just because I have two steel types that I've brought to pretty much every game. So what I assumed he would bring was the Rotom Mow, Bronzong, Mineshow, Excadrill, Manectric, and Kyurem. I was sort of wrong. So what did I bring? Well, I brought kind of my usual lineup, not gonna lie. I brought Cobalion, Jirachi, Flygon, Crocodile, Venusaur, who's my Mega, and Rotom. I did not bring Rain because of all his electric threats. He's got two very powerful electric attackers, and Kyurem, who has a very powerful electric move. So I figured he would kind of zap me, and I didn't want that to happen. But anyways, let's go ahead and explain why I brought everything. Cobalion is kind of my weird set for the day. He's Subcom Mind, and he would have done really well if I had used him well, and if I hadn't gotten credit right in the beginning. We'll explain all that later, but Jirachi is Scarf. I brought Scarf Rachi, that's right. Iron Head, Fire Punch, U-Turn, oh god, what's the Zen Headbutt? That's the one. It's, you know, pretty standard, I guess. It kind of hits a lot of his stuff, but at the same time, it doesn't hit it uber amazing. If I could, you know, flinch a couple of things, I figured I would be good, but you'll see that doesn't happen. Flygon is just Life Orb, physical attacker with Defog, which is a pretty good set. I mean, he's, I think a lot of people run the special set, but his physical attack is higher. And I figured if he threw an Earthquake at, like, an Excadrill or whatever, that could hurt. And I needed something with Defog. Although, actually, I probably didn't, now that I think about it. If I had gotten Rocks up early, he would have had a hard time, because he's got 2 quad weaknesses. Now, he does have Defog, but it's on his Yanmega, so that already takes damage coming into Rocks. Unfortunately, wasn't able to really punish that as well as I would have liked to. I've also got Crocodile, who is defensive. This is the first time I've ever used a defensive Crocodile. It did okay, but I didn't play it super well. It's got Knockoff, Stealth Rocks, Earthquake, I forget what else, Crunch maybe? I shouldn't have put Crunch on it if I did. It might have been Stone. No, it wasn't Stone Edge. I know it wasn't Stone Edge. It should have been Stone Edge. Anyways, and then we've got, maybe it was Taunt. I think it was Taunt, now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, and, Venusaur Mega. I think I have a little bit of offense, but mostly defensive. What is it? I think it's it's specially defensive, enough to take a Life Orb Ice Beam from Kira in Black, with its normal set, and survive at, like, 10% or something. It was not... Well, I mean, it did okay in terms of being, like, specially defensive, but it really didn't do what I wanted it to. And then Rotom, I'm gonna tell you... Oh yeah, Rotom, just standard set. I think I have a little bit of offense and a little bit of speed, just because I want it to be able to outspeed some stuff. Especially his Rotom if it was defensive, although I assumed his Rotom would be Scarfed. I'll explain that later too. And then, yeah, it's just like Wisp, Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, and, what else? Oh god, Pain Split, I think? Yeah, I had Pain Split, that's right. So his team, he had Yanmega, not really sure what kind of, it was a weird set, but it worked. He had Manectric, which died to a crit, I think. There were a lot of crits in this game. Kieran Black, who he never brought in. Spoilers. His, oh god, what's it called? I said it already too. Excadrill, which was Scarfed. I figured, I kind of thought it would be like Life Orb or something, but I've had Scarf in the back of my mind, and once he brought it in at one point, and I kind of figured it was Scarfed from that point on. Talonflame, which was Bulk Up, which really wrecked me. I was assuming it would just be like Swords Dance or straight offensive. And then his Rotom, which was defensive with, you know, I think he had T-Wave, Leaf Storm, Volt Switch, and Pain Split. So he was more T-Wave minded. I was more Wisp minded. I figured, we'll talk about that later. Anyways, so yeah, that's the teams. It's, not exactly a super favorable matchup for me. I mean, it never would have been. He had all those electric types. He's got a lot of really potent threats, and I don't know. There wasn't a ton I could do about a lot of them, so I had to just kind of bring a team that I was okay with, and then try to, you know, just try to play well. So I brought a team that I knew I could... It was balanced enough that I could deal with the rest of his threats, but it really... I don't know. It wasn't super amazing. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at the battle. Okay, so the battle starts, and I lead with Flygon. My opponent leads with Rotom Mo. Now here I wanted to check what kind of set it would be running, so I just go U-turn, and I outspeed it, so that shows me he's not Scarfed, which was what I was really worrying about. So I go into Cobalion. I figured I could resist the Leaf Storm and just kind of set up. And potentially just wreck something. That was the plan anyway. So I go ahead and set up a sub as he goes for the T-Wave, which was a really good prediction on my part, I think. Because I figured he would... I actually thought he would Wisp, but it was the same thing. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set up a Calm Mind, and he kind of has to switch out. Unfortunately, and this is super unfortunate right off the bat, he scores a crit on my sub at -2 and with... and with me at +1, that would not have broken my sub, and I would have been able to do a lot of damage to something. He would have gone into his, Talonflame, but I still would have been able to damage it pretty good. Anyways, I figured he was scarfed with his Excadrill now that he brought that in on Cobalion at +1. So I just go into Crocodile and, get the Intimidate off and go for the knockoff. I figured if he stayed in, I would be able to knock off his Scarf, and figured he wouldn't, but basically that was the idea, knock off something. So now he goes into his, Yanmega, and I eat an Air Slash, which was really stupid. I shouldn't have gone into this. But I wasn't really sure what to go into. Obviously, Rotom was the correct answer. So now I go into Rotom. Unfortunately, he scores a crit with the Air Slash here. And I'm going to go Will-O-Wisp. I could have gone Volt Switch, but I did not want to give his, Manectric a free +1. So we don't want to do that. So he goes into his Rotom, his own Rotom, and I hit it with the Wisp. Now I figured I'd outspeed here, so I'm just going to go ahead and Volt Switch out. Or no, I hard switch. I didn't want him to go into that Manectric. Sorry. Now we go into Irachi, who can eat up that Leaf Storm, and just kind of do its thing. And I'm going to U-turn. I figured he would switch. He does not. And now he's going to definitely go for one of his status moves. I figured either Thunder Wave or potentially Wisp, which is why I went into Rotom here. Flygon would have been the correct play, but I was fearing the Wisp. If I had gone into Flygon, I would have been able to kill it right here. But, oh well. So now I go into Flygon, pretty much assured that he does not have Wisp. Unfortunately, he does have the Pain Split, which is even worse for me, because that means he's going to be able to survive. Now I'm going to U-turn, and I was entirely sure that he was going to switch out, so that's why I wasn't, doing that. And I go into my Rotom again, trying to dodge a T-Wave if he goes for it. Although he wouldn't have, but maybe he would have predicted something. Anyways, Rotom eats the Leaf Storm, and I Volt Switch out. I'm not at very good health, but on the plus side, I am still alive, and I could potentially try something later with this Rotom. Unfortunately, I'm not really going to be able to do that. But anyway, now I go into Flygon, I go for U-turn. No, I go for Dragon Claw, because I was faster and I was assured that I would outspeed. I should have U-turned there, and he goes into this and Acrobatics and kills. I should have gone into... Actually, I didn't really have anything that was uber amazing that I could have gone into. But now, I try to go into Rotom and thinking I could maybe Pain Split if I survive. Unfortunately, I don't. I was physically defensive, so... And I didn't calc it. Anyways, now I'm going to go into my Crocodile and go for some rocks on a predicted switch. My predictions are not on point this game. As he starts, bulk upping right in my face. I go for knockoff, even though I know he has Acrobatics. I figured he didn't have an item, but... I just wanted to see if I could get some damage on him, and it does nothing. So now I go into Rachi. At this point, he's pretty much going to sweep me unless I get a crit. Luckily for me, he's going to keep setting up, and goes for the Acrobatics, does not do as much as he would have liked, and I, after a miss, of course, I actually do crit him with this Zen Headbutt here. Sort of tit for tat there with him critting me on the sub there earlier, which, whatever. Anyway, I am Scarfed, so I could have just stayed in and gone for another Zen Headbutt, but I figured he would definitely just Mega Evolve and go for, like, a Flamethrower or something, which he does, and he burns me, which is unfortunate. Now here, again, really aggressive prediction. I'm like, oh, he's going to go into Rotom, so I'm going to go knock off. He stays in, hits me with another Flamethrower, and I knock off, and it does nothing because I'm burned, and knockoff doesn't have boosted power against us because he's got a Mega Stone. If I had Earthquaked, I would have done a lot, but... yeah, I genuinely, like, whatever. I'm not gonna say nothing, but I was entirely sure he was gonna switch. Anyway, now I go into Venusaur, and he T-Waves me, and I Sludge Bomb. He was really T-Wave happy this game. That was kind of his whole strategy. Anyways, so he goes into Yanmega and Roosts, and I go for Sludge Bomb, hoping it would do a lot, and it doesn't. But at this point, I really can't switch to anything else, because it'll just die. So, I'm just gonna stay in and hope I can poison him. Venusaur can at least do that. So, we're gonna chill and do our thing. And I do get the poison eventually. There's a lot of waiting, I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah, my predictions were not on point this game. Usually I'm very aggressive with my predictions, especially early game. Or at least I try to be. Which can kind of bite you, and it definitely did. But who stays with an electric? Whatever. I'm not gonna judge. Anyways, yeah, so here we're just kind of doing stall tactics, and trying to wear each other down. Now, if his Yanmega kills me, then I just kind of lose, because I don't really have anything that can take hits from it. Because I kind of wasted my Cobalion, which was stupid. Unfortunately, I really can't do a lot to him with anything, so I think he ends up killing me eventually. It's gonna take a while, I'm sorry. That's what happens when you T-Wave people. Anyway, he's got Air Slash, which is... And he crits me a couple of times. His Venusaur doesn't care, but, like... Again, it was one of those things that, like, even just on Team Preview, even just on Draft Preview, he really had a huge advantage against me. Oh yeah, that Giga Drain was a misclick. Unfortunately. Although it didn't matter. So here he finishes me off. Okay, now here's something I had a chance. Not a good chance, but a chance nonetheless. I have this Cobalion, and he ends up roosting because he wants to be faster than my Jirachi. I should have gone, I think, Calm Mind there, but I figured he would just kill me. But here he roosts again, and again, I could have just Calm Minded, and I did. And I was like, maybe I can start setting up if he just wants to be all stally and stuff. So, after an Air Slash, he, whatever. Here's the thing. He ends up missing a couple of Air Slashes here, and if he had told me about it, if he had been like, hey, I'm about to miss my Air Slash, I could have set up a sub and then just won. I'm going to say that right now. I could have won if I had set up a sub, but I figured I would be at such low health, I couldn't. So, here he misses Air Slash. This was the one that I could have set up a sub and won. Unfortunately, didn't know, and he just ends up missing and dying. And now he brings in his Scarf Excadrill, which I can't bring in Jirachi yet. Or, like, I couldn't have switched it in. Now I bring in Jirachi, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can just Power Flinch just flinch everything to death. Not Power Flinch, but, yeah, I don't get any flinches, because that's me. I don't think I've gotten a flinch yet in PICA. Or actually, in general, using all of this team. But whatever. Anyways, Josh thoroughly outplayed me in this. He knew exactly what I was going to do, basically, and outplayed me. So, if you want to look up Josh's stuff, it's always good. He's a very good YouTuber, and he uploads a bunch of different stuff. So I'm going to plug him because he's a friend. So go check him out. And he uploaded his version of this, which was a live commentary, which I think... If I could do those, I might, but I kind of like doing post-commentary. Anyways, yeah, that's going to be it for that game. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll do a recap and a preview of the next game in 1 second. So, that was brutal. Not my best game. Josh really had an advantage just in drafts. It's definitely something that I should have been looking out for while we were drafting. It's like I have this huge electric weakness. Even though I have 2 ground types, it's like still brutal. Yeah, there was a lot that he had that I just couldn't deal with. So unfortunately, we dropped down to 1 and 3. Ugh. We do have the opportunity to bounce back next week against the South Park Electrodes, which I'll talk about in just a second. But first, we've got to talk about the trade window because it just opened and I made a couple of trades. So first off, we traded off Cobalion for Blaziken. Now, Blaziken is ordinarily Ubers and would be banned, but you can actually, in this format, use him as long as you use the Blaze ability. And Blaze isn't the best ability ever, but at the same time, Blaziken has a lot of really good qualities that I really wanted. So let's go ahead and look at him. Blaziken has very good attack, very good special attack, decent enough speed, and amazing typing that really complements my team. The fighting typing with really good attack and stab, high jump kick can really put a dent in a lot of stuff, and that's something that my team was definitely missing. It's also got a gnarly fire typing with Flare Blitz, and I don't really have, I didn't have at all a fire type that I could sub in when I don't bring rain. Now, we've got this Blaziken, and he's actually got a couple more tricks up his sleeve past the good, stabs. He's also got he has access to both Bulk Up and Sword Stance, as well as Baton Pass, which could potentially be useful. There's some stuff like if I Baton Pass like a Sword Stance or a Bulk Up or something to Jirachi that's like Scarfed, I could really cause some cause some mayhem, let's say. I've got a lot of different options with that, and I think that it could be really useful. And again, there's stab typings. He's a really good wall breaker, so I think Blaziken's definitely a good addition. And then my other trade, and this was one that I was looking to make a while ago, or, you know, I've kind of had it in the back of my mind. Gourgeist is gone, unfortunately. Well, actually, it's not super unfortunate. I picked up Gourgeist just because I saw it was a tier 5 and it was still available. It really has, like, no synergy with my team, especially because I've already got the Mega Venusaur as a grass type. I saw it, and it's a very good Pokemon, so I wanted it. But we ended up trading that off for Spiritomb. Now, Spiritomb is a little bit weird, but at the same time, he's got a lot of... he's another thing that has a lot of really useful qualities that I like. First off, he's still a ghost, so I can potentially spin block with him, and I can potentially throw a lot of wisps and stuff. And that sounded weird to say. Anyways, but he's also got the Infiltrator ability, which I really, really like. Basically, what it lets you do is bypass substitutes and stuff. Anything that would prevent you from making contact, or, like, you know, doing damage and stuff. So you can potentially, like, wisp things that are behind a sub. And that's really good. He's also got Stab, Ghost, and Dark typings. I already have a Dark type, but Ghost and Dark is still not bad. He's weak to Fairy, but I still have Jirachi as a Fairy Resist. I could potentially... I'll look at some of the other stuff that I could potentially trade off later. Because I've got a couple more trades that I can potentially do. I was only allowed to do 2 per week, though. So, but anyways, what he's got a lot going on. He's got good attack, good special, well, not good, but, like, decent enough attack and special attack. Pretty good defenses. No speed, obviously, and not a lot of health, but he can potentially do some interesting stuff, and I've used Spiritomb before. I'm very comfortable using it, which don't think I've used Gourgeist more than, like, once or twice before this. That was a problem I also have with, like, Slurpuff, is that I've just never used it before. So yeah, anyways, looking at a lot of this stuff, though, I think the trades that I made are going to be beneficial for us. So, I think that'll be good. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at the Electrodes, which are my next matchup. They're coached by Tempest, and he's pretty good, to say the least. He has Mega Slowpoke, Mega Slowbro, which is going to be immensely difficult to kill. I don't like it, but I do have an Electric type, although I don't have a super powerful Electric type, but I could potentially do some stuff to it. He's also got an Azumarill, which, again, my Electric type can kind of help with. He's got a Mamoswine, which, again, Rotom really helps with. He's got an Amoonguss, who I have a couple of different things for. Jirachi can hurt it really bad if I can get up a sub, and it just can't really do anything to me. I've also got, like, Venusaur for it and stuff. Like, Venusaur can kind of block it pretty well. Tornadus can kill it, but I don't really have any way to bring it in. So yeah, those are my kind of options for that. He's got a Fori. Anything that I can slap a fire move on can kill that. Heliolisk could be kind of annoying. It's immune to water. And it's an Electric type, but I think I should be able to deal with that pretty good. He's got a Dusclops, which will be annoying, but I do have Crocodile for. Emboar, I doubt he'll bring it. It's not super amazing. Actually, that was something that I'm very happy about. Emboar and Blaziken are in the same tier, and no offense to Emboar, but I think Blaziken's just better all around. It's got potential to be a mixed attacker, and it's, like, faster. It doesn't have as much physical bulk, but at the same time, it's got a lot of qualities that can really help me. So I feel like that's going to be good for me. And then he's got a Scrafty. That could be annoying. There's a lot of different sets that Scrafty can run. That was something I was considering drafting. I went with Crocodile instead, but Scrafty actually has a good matchup against Crocodile, so keep that in mind. He's got a Rotom Heat, which any of my water types can really hurt pretty bad, as long as he doesn't, like, Volt Switch on them. So if I can get Rain Up, I can really mess him up. And then Exeggutor, which I sort of doubt he'll bring, but at the same time, I've seen it used, and it's annoying. But I do have now 2 Dark types. I've got Crocodile and Spiritomb. Spiritomb can really do some damage to it, especially because it does not, like, a lot of times Exeggutor is going to want to set up a sub, and Spiritomb doesn't care about your subs, so that's nice. So he's got 2 grass types, both of whom, or Exeggutor is also super weak to U-turn, so keep that in mind. So he's got a couple of things that I could potentially take advantage of and, hurt him pretty good. We'll have to see how that goes. But I think, hopefully, this will be a good matchup for me. I, kind of am in need of a win. So, Tempest, I'm coming for you, brah. And that'll be sometime this week. So, guys, hope you enjoyed this Pika video, and I will see you next time. Later!